Hello, I'm Gary Fisher, Resurrected Rust Garage. We have 25 rat rods here from all over the Northwest, actually the Western region. And I represent Rat Rod Magazine. This vehicle here is a 1933 Chevy Delivery. It's actually ran on bob wire. This thing, we chopped it 5 inches, and we actually brought this thing from Oregon and did a build-off in 2014. And this thing, all the water runs through the frame to the back, and there's an airplane wing that cools the motor back down. Again, I was picked 1 out of 12 guys in the United States, so I had to build this thing, take it out to St. Louis, drive it 300 miles with the bob wire. It runs awesome. There's bicycle parts, Harley parts, plane parts. This Airstream grill is a one-off grill. I take pieces, unique pieces, and take and blend them in. I don't take one piece off of a shelf. I usually take like 4 or 5 pieces, and I'll make one part. So in saying that, again, like even the mufflers, these were off of a roll cage. This here is the shifter. It's in park right now. Bicycle parts again. And I always do things with flex conduit, so all the wiring's through conduit. As you come into the inside, these are airplane seats like Southwest, Delta, Atlanta, whatever your favorite airline is. So, you know, I just coordinated those in. And again, we take in the steering wheel is a signature piece for me. The Hugelhorn, it's just a unique piece of art. The wheels are one-off wheels, and they actually have an 1.5 inch slug separating them from Ford out to these 1920 Smith & Wesson. And these things were made from Syracuse, New York back in the day in the 20s. So actually, they're a one-off wheel. They're unique. Again, I'll take you back to the back. And then I want to show you guys another build that I did. I had to come back and defend my title. After 2014, I had to go back and defend it. And I had to have it build another vehicle. And we call this one Resurrected Rust. We call the next one Resurgence. Resurgence is a 72 motorhome converted in with a 1935 autocar. So again, like the lights, they have bus parts, but they got the old Model T, Model A. You come back to the back. The women love this. It had the battery. The battery box is actually a makeup kit. We have the fuel cell, and again, there's an airplane wing that cools the motor down with the radiator. So it's just a unique piece of art. So we come over here to Resurgence. When I had to come back in 2015 to defend my title, this was actually a water truck, and I started out with it was a 72 motorhome. And I'll go through the front to the back for you could all just have an idea. This thing on Facebook, I put it on Facebook, a 45-second video, and this thing had 3 million hits on it, and I can't even keep track of it. It's probably the most viewed rat rod in the country. Again, I used a 72 motorhome because I had to keep my costs down. You have to build them for $3,000, and then you have to drive them when you get them back there. So again, this has the original, a 72 motorhome frame, or not frame, axle. I had to use the motor, the tranny, and the driveline, and it's a dually, and it has airbags, so it drops all the way to the ground and lifts up 5 inches. These are B-17 air tanks. The steering arm that goes from the front to the cab is 11 foot 4 inches. So when this thing's driving down the road, this steering arm actually flexes a little bit. These are square tubing exhausts. We built these custom-wise, and there's a 5-foot span in between this exhaust. Now, if you look at the frame, the frame, I wanted it to look like it was moving. I sleeved it with copper, and then I buttoned it to make it look like a bridge abutment. I just love that look. I think it's really industrial. When I did the cab, again, I had to build the window frames, and I just thought it was unique that, you know, I wanted to give it that Batman flair, because most windows usually flip up. I wanted these to flip out. These are actually firemen's hoses here. There's a local artist in Hood River, Oregon. She did the plasma cutting by hand, mind you. She did all this art with a plasma cutter. Her name is Kelly Phipps. This is an old shutoff valve, water valve. And they just put tubing and stuff in here to make it happen. All the water goes from the motor back into the original radiator. When you come into the inside, these are actually Chevy fenders, 1936 Chevy fenders that came off of Resurrected Rust, the originals. So we coordinated those back in, and as you look through the cab, this is a Singer sewing machine wheel. So you put the copper on the back, and then I put the mask, and as you pan up, you could really see the detail of the roof and the art in it. And that has the original dash with the gauges being, we just have new gauges, but that's the original dash, and then we added brass and stuff to make it look really cool. And again, we call it Resurgence. It's a division of Resurrected Rust. I have a Facebook page. And so when you come to the back, these are actually steam locomotive whistles. So, and then the light does work. It does have the stop light. And again, we dumped the inside dualies to make this work, and we put the side skirts back on this thing. And then this one here is called the Kingfish. I built this before the show. And we had it here last year, but I didn't quite have it finished. So this is a 1926 tall tee that I cut 18 times. And actually, the copper, and this is all aircraft parts that I collected. And then the copper, those are copper gutters. And I just kind of coordinated all the pieces together in this application. So this is just a cool piece. And actually, I made the hood. And this is an old Dodge fender. I just wanted to have some industrial look. And again, this is just a cool piece of art. And actually the back trunk, as he comes to the back, this is an old sprayer lid out of an orchard. So they would use these for sprayers. And these lids, they're hard to come by. So you have to modify. So again, this is a cool rig. It was well put together. It's a screamer. You know, and again, the copper as we ran it through, and we used the conduit, and I just really appreciate you guys allowing me to share my vision and passion. Again, please support Rat Rod Magazine. Go to Resurrected Rust Garage and Rat Rod Rehab. Rat Rod Rehab's about helping people in the rat rod community. This is one big family, and it's nationwide, millions of people. It's a blue collar thing. So thank you for your time, and thank you for allowing me with this interview.
Thank you. This has been a Desm Magazine exclusive. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.